That is the voice of Ben Johnson. He was talking yesterday about the many coaches that people are attempting to hire, want to interview, want to move up in the world, and he's all for it. And the latest one this morning is Declan Doyle, who we have often talked about as the great sort of translator of what Ben Johnson says. When you hear from him on a Thursday, he does a really good job of kind of giving the message point by point.
This is what Ben really meant. This is what he didn't have patience to explain.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah. I really enjoy
There's value in that because he provides context, even if it comes on a Thursday. He does not show the reticence that maybe Dennis Allen does in looking back and maybe re-examining exactly what happened and why. He would be a loss. He's considered a up-and-coming future head coach, I believe, because he has worked under Sean Payton, now for Ben Johnson.
Yes.
He's one of the voices in Ben Johnson's ear during games and sitting in the booth and getting that bird's eye view of what's going on. So he has been given permission to interview with the Eagles, working for Nick Sirianni, looking for their fifth offensive coordinator, I believe, in 5 years.
Wouldn't wish it on him.
I don't think I would either, except it might help him become a head coach sooner if he's able to call plays there, unlike he does here.
Maybe he could become a head coach at Philadelphia.
Well, it might be. You never know. Matt Nagy is also up for the same job.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Patrick from Gage Park texts in, it would be sick if Declan Doyle beats out Nagy for the Eagles OC job. Could you imagine that?
Well, I think that depends on what they're looking for. You want up-and-comers and somebody who might not feel like as big of a threat to your job if you're Nick Sirianni. Whereas if you bring in a former head coach who's looking to become a head coach, you just don't know what the dynamic is. And with Nick Sirianni, I'm not going to pretend to know what kind of personality type he's looking for. But
it would free him up to spend more time attacking fans.
It would definitely give him 30 more minutes each week, probably before games, to antagonize
anyone who was.
The great interpreter would help the great antagonizer do his job, or the antagonist. That might be the guy that Sirianni becomes. So a lot of stuff going on in coaching. Mully, so let's recap. This 5-star staff that Ben Johnson described. Eric Bieniemy
already has a head coach.
Offensive coordinator.
An OC job.
For the Chiefs. Declan Doyle interviewing in Philadelphia. Al Harris, the defensive backs coach. Let me ask you this. He interviewed with the Commanders to be the defensive coordinator.
Yes.
As well as the Packers.
Yes.
So he drove, presumably, or got in a Zoom and exchanged information with Matt LaFleur and the brass for the Green Bay Packers for what, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, all day? Did they go to the brat stop? What happened? How much did he share with what the Bears have with the dreaded Packers?
Could he stop by the Packers Hall of Fame and see himself there?
He could. I know he screams Packers because of his playing career. But with this renewed, reignited rivalry, what does the Bears defensive back coach interviewing with the Packers to be their defensive coordinator do to you? Does it bug you?
What's the first question that the Flower asks Al Harris?
What's Ben Johnson really like?
Does Ben really not like me?
Right. I mean, it's
why doesn't Ben like me?
If there's a rancor between the two teams, they had the midfield melee. They had the fist bump that lasted, it wasn't a handshake. It was the animosity that continues to grow. Now it's like, we want your coach, and we're going to interview him, and now Harsh like, oh, sure. I get it. I know how it works, but it's just another wrinkle. Interesting. And I think he's a guy that will get a lot of interest from defensive coordinator openings.
I think that I like Al Harris. I have no problem with him going to Green Bay as the defensive coordinator. That wouldn't bother me at all. Not the slightest.
Not the slightest?
Not even a little bit.
Explain yourself, sir.
I think that he's really good at what he's doing as a secondary coach, and I think he's going to move up in the world. And I frankly, I think it helps the Bears that Green Bay has lost their defensive coordinator, and I don't believe that Al Harris has plenty of information on the secret stuff that Ben Johnson's doing to a point or he damaged them.
How about Dennis Allen?
Huh?
He's going to know what Dennis Allen's doing.
He'll know Dennis Allen. Yeah.
He's going to know how Dennis Allen wants to attack Jordan Love.
Yes.
And he's going to know what Dennis Allen wants to do to stop that receiving core and Josh
doubt
Jacobs
about it.
and everything about Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. And he'll be able
got the secret sauce.
He'll be able to tell that
recipe.
All of the Bears defensive stuff to Matt LaFleur. But I don't think you can prevent a guy from trying to better himself in his occupation. And I think you should encourage him, and maybe it'll bring a more kindness to the rivalry.
What about, you don't want kindness in the rivalry. You want rancor. You want animosity. You want bile. You want bile. That's what you want.
I just want the Bears to win. That's it.
What if Al Harris is the Green Bay Packer defensive coordinator week 1 of 2026, and his defensive secondary includes Nashawn Wright? Or dare I say it? Well, they have safeties. I was going to say Jaquan Brisker. We've seen that.
Wow.
Remember Adrian Amos?
I do remember.
He went from the Bears to the Packers and made the Bears pay for giving up on him with an interception of Mitch Trubisky in the opener of 2019, but we've forgotten that, moved on.
Yeah, we moved on.
Al Harris and Nashawn Wright for the Packers in 2026. What do you think?
That wouldn't. I don't think I would be as rankled about it as you appear to pretend to be. I don't think you're remotely
you think
rankled.
I'm pretending?
I know you are pretending. I know that you're stirring it up. You think you're going to get me to join in your little hate fest. Well, no. I'm sitting this one out.
I spew hate.
No.
That's what I do.
But in this case, you're kind of making it sound.
I
literally, just so you know, as you started talking about it, I saw a head raise in the glass over here. Yeah. Dustin was ready to jump on board. He's ready. He was lighting his torch and ready to march after Al Harris.
Yes.
Dustin, you don't care, do you?
Dustin.
Do you care?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I hate to say I don't know, but it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough.
Al Harris, like you and I talked about it a little bit. Maybe Al Harris can go behind enemy lines and bring some stuff back here to town.
I don't know.
I mean, it works both ways, right? If you're worried about him taking stuff from here and sharing it with them. I mean, you do think of him as a Packer, though. He was a very
he was a good Packer. No question.
I would worry about him sharing things with him after the interview once he's established, and this is how his intimate knowledge of the Bear defense could help them attack it next year. I don't necessarily worry about him sharing any trade secrets during a job interview.
So they're sitting there, and he just now he's hired, he's there, and he says, Ben always makes fun of your pencil-thin mustache.
Yes.
Just pouring gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, I think so.
But also, if you add to it, think about it, too, like when the Packers got Trayvon Diggs. Like, it was rumored that maybe Diggs would have went to the Bears, and then they signed him, the Packers. He only played one snap.
$450,000.
And then they just released him.
Yeah.
So it's like a block move to the Bears. So it's just like, I can see that type of petty with this Al Harris just to get information like, okay, we're not even going to, we're good.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. I'd see. That's what I'm saying.
They did release him.
They did release him, which means that they tried to keep him away from the Bears.
That's all it was.
It was an expensive block. But at the time, it made sense because the Bears, in theory, were a cornerback down. They needed some depth. And if the suggestion was around the league, like we speculated, that they were eyeing him because of Al Harris, then you would think that, yes, the rivalry is alive and well.
What if Al went in there and demanded they re-sign him?
He could. Never know. I just don't know. But the coaching carousel will continue to spin. So the Bears, this might not be the last interview that a Bears assistant coach has. I just wonder how much you think it's a impactful trend with the Bears if they lose. They already lost Bieniemy. They could lose Declan Doyle. They might lose Al Harris if he's up for 2 coordinator jobs. What effect that will have on their future success?
Well, I mean, they've already hired a guy, right, who was with Bill O'Brien for 10 years at various stops and is now going to be on the coaching staff in Chicago. So we'll find out.
Yeah, Will Lawing is
replacing
the
Declan
Boston
Doyle.
College offensive coordinator. Oh, interesting.
Yes.
He could be coming to the Bears in the same capacity if they lose Declan Doyle.
Right.
That would be a possibility. He also could be the running backs coach because you do have an opening.
I don't know if he could be. I mean, all I'm saying is he's never been a running backs coach. I think he was a tight ends coach, and he coached another position, and he was a coordinator. I wonder if you can say, well, it's a running back. What does it matter in the running back room? But we can't have it both ways. We can't talk about a guy being a really good running backs coach to the point where he got a offensive coordinator position and then just say, well, I have to go to the running backs. It's not that
I think that Eric Bieniemy got that job in Kansas City because of his previous experience in Kansas City.
Yes.
And his relationship with Andy Reid.
Yes.
And familiarity with the organization.
Yes.
I'm not sure that his success in
Chicago
tutoring Kyle Monangai and
agree.
getting the most out of DeAndre Swift put him in a position for Andy Reid to say, "Oh, okay, come back."
But he was an offensive coordinator in Kansas City in name only, and then he went to Washington in part because he wasn't getting head coaching jobs because he wasn't calling plays.
Yeah, and then he made him cry, and then he had to leave.
And then he was like too intense and too demanding.
My coach yelled at me. That was the refrain.
That was exactly
Those
right.
were the Commander players.
They had
and
a
Ron
hard
Rivera
time
was the
with
head
that.
coach at the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and he had to talk to
Yes, he did.
Bieniemy about his approach.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ben Johnson ever did that here. Even though Eric Bieniemy, I can remember training camp, his was the voice that carried the loudest.
Yeah. And didn't he go blue every once in a while?
Yeah. Much to the chagrin of, well, no, I think
George
McCaskey's fine with that now,
George
right?
loves it when you
He loves a well-placed F-bomb.
Oh, boy.
I think I heard that.
Yeah, he said that after he said that it was underestimated, that people didn't understand that he was like that. But
Who's the next coach to interview somewhere? Anybody? Anybody else you're worried about losing?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Who else on that staff? Are you asking me who I'd hire off that staff?
I think they have some really good coaches, probably that don't get a lot of attention, doing great jobs.
Yes.
Dan Rochar is not at the stage of his career that he wants to move on, but he's as valuable as any assistant coach.
I don't think Dennis Allen is going to get a ton of looks at a head coaching job.
Antoine Randall.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
That's a good one.
He could interview as an offensive coordinator
I think
somewhere.
he has a huge role on this team.
Local guy
behind
made
the
good.
scenes. I really do.
I think you're right. I like the fact that he is
Where did he play in college?
the Indiana University.
I'm just saying, I didn't see him out there, flipping the coin. I saw Adewale Ogunleye.
I think I'm surprised that Antoine Randall hasn't gotten more love for his IU career.
I agree.
He was an outstanding quarterback in college. He was the guy who made them worth watching for his career there. Oh my gosh, was he great.
I interviewed him at the Senior Bowl after his.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
When you're down in Mobile?
When I was down in Mobile.
Okay, I did one better.
Here
I
it
flew
comes.
out and I spent the day with him in Pittsburgh at his house
Oh, look at you.
when he was a Steeler.
Oh.
He
Just
was
because of that Indiana connection?
I did the secret
I
Hoosier
had an
handshake.
Illinois connection
Yes,
with him.
but I did that because he was just a guy that from Chicago.
Yeah, it's a good one.
They went to IU.
Is that the year they won in Detroit? Is that
I think that was the year that they were on their way to Detroit.
Pittsburgh?
I might have gone during the season, but he was accommodating, he was entertaining, and could not have been nicer. I really have a ton of respect for
How
Antoine
many
Randall.
times did you go to his house this year?
Not been invited back. Strangely enough.
Remember me? Guy came to your house 10 years ago.
We did a really fun story out there with photographer. I love Pittsburgh. I really like Pittsburgh.
I do too. I told you, Pittsburgh reminds me like just the kind of Pittsburgh people. It's really the South Side.
South Side. That's why you like Mike McCarthy.
Oh, I like Mike McCarthy. And somebody was saying, what about the idea that Mike McCarthy goes to Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers sticks around?
Isn't that something?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
At 43 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
I think everyone's moved on. All right, we got to get to a break.
Okay.